It's Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk. Welcome back, guys. And today I've got a game of my own in the Centurion 5/1, which is one of the many Centurion clones out there. Apparently a Australian, I believe, Army type tank, a Centurion type, but it's in the British line and it is a premium tank, tier 8 medium. And we are here on Himmel's Ghost Town Dorf. Now let's talk about today picking positions or initial, I guess, analysis of the teams, the match, the map. Where do you want to go, right? Where do I want to take my tank? And we're going to talk about it in the context of today, anyway, of an all tier 8 battle. So when the tiering is different, that's another thing we can take a look at, but today we don't have to worry as much about that. Some of you may have seen this, witnessed this battle on stream, and it ends up being an ace tanker. Things work out really nicely for me, but it's kind of interesting the way we get there. I was discussing as I logged in or as I spawned into this particular match on stream, looking at it and going, okay, well, I'm top tier, so I'd really like to be where the important fight is. I really consider the city to be the most important fight on this map, but the flanks have to be at least held. It does suck very badly to lose the flanks on this particular map, and it is quite wide open, and there are significant amounts of crossfire, at least from the middle out and the outside into the middle in certain spaces. So it's bad on this map to lose a flank. Now, you're only one person, so you can only affect the one flank you go to unless you're able to react and flex to the other flank. Good news here is, if you pick one of the three flanks, you should be able to influence one other flank. You go to the middle, you should be able to influence either the east or the west, kind of depending on what part of the town you're in, and you might be able to move around. If you're over on the east, you may be able to influence the city a bit. If you're up on the plateau up here, off to the west, left in this case from our point of view, you may be able to influence the western part of the town. So there is some interlocking fire on this particular map. I do consider the city to be, I think, the most important fight overall, but that doesn't mean that the flanks can't be important or the game can't be won from one of the other flanks. Very wide open map for the most part. That being said, going to one of the flanks, often you're kind of stuck there in this map. It's difficult to get out of the city and flex over to one of the sides, so you're kind of fighting from in the city. If you go to the east, it's difficult to get all the way to the west unless you're fast, okay? So that's kind of a lot about the interlocking flanks on this particular map. And generally, as I said, you go to a flank on this map, and that's where you make your money. You're going to win or lose off that flank. Now, later in the game, mid to late game, you may change and move into the city if you're still alive, all that good stuff. But you have to win your flank or fall back. Fall back can be kind of a trick. So I was looking at this going, all right, which way do I want to go? I was discussing that. To some extent, I kind of wanted to go into the city. Good turret on this tank, does hold down pretty well, could support the heavies, all that good stuff, but I figured we probably had enough heavies going to town. And for the most part, town should be a slow kind of face-smashing slog, at least initially. It tends to take a while for the city really to win or lose, so that gives you some time if you're in a medium, like I am, to work on the flanks. I also considered for a moment going to the east side. The east side, as you can see, the 6x6 has pushed into there. There's a Barask, a couple Barasks, and sometimes you can catch the enemy team out, especially the lighter tanks, maybe running around down there where the Batchat 12T is. Get a couple free shots. Now that's all well and good, but then you're either stuck back here in the southeast taking sniper shots, especially if your scout dies, that's very bad. Or if you're able to take this area, you can move up by where these two ships are and kind of shoot from the bushes. But it's very difficult to move out, say the C row right here. It's very difficult to go past that and move in there, because if they're still in the city, they have shots on you. There'll be campers up here on their sniper hill. There may be guys over here in the corner. So I like that side for scouts. And if you have a couple supporting mediums that can move around and help you, that can be very good. But I don't find it all that decisive. You don't want to lose it. You don't want to lose that flank, but I don't find it all that decisive. So, lots of yappity yap. I'm going over to the west side. But what do I have coming with me? Well, I've got myself a CDC, which is a very light-skinned medium, a 416, and I'm seeing a bunch of mediums come up and over here. We've got a 6x6 scouting. There goes our 6x6, by the way. So we've already got a problem over there on the west side. They've got their links over. We've got a Type Centurion, an Iron Arnie, and an Indian Panzer, and I think another tank or two are going to show up here. And I'm already looking at this going, oh boy. The CDC has lost his ever-loving mind and is pushing in on the 6x6, and this is looking grim. It's looking a bit grim. So right off the bat, I've decided to go here. I didn't go over to the east side, but I've assessed right now from what I'm seeing in terms of what we brought and what they brought is we are in a very defensive situation over here if they get aggressive, and they are. So here comes this dude. Get a little bounce off him. That's a bummer. The CDC is dying. He just doesn't have the support, guys. It's not a necessarily horrible place to go. The problem with that position, though, is anytime you peek, you're seen. You can be shot at from down here in the city, and the 274 Alpha is kind of looking at what's going on and says, well, there's nobody over here. I'm just going to go kill off this CDC. And right off the bat, we've lost one of our helpers. Getting some misses, and holy cow. So I don't really want to play Peekaboom with an Iron Arnie in his heat round. My near complete inability to go through, or perhaps it's complete inability to go through his turret, except for the little nub on his hatch, the hatch up there. So all I've got is myself, a 416, and a Scorpion, and I really don't think the Scorpion is long for the world because they can just pop around. He has no armor. So at this point on the stream, I'm thinking this is bad. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tanks over here, 5 of their mediums against 2 of our mediums. One of them's dead now, and a Scorpion G. At least we have an Indian Panzer sniping from the back, I guess. I don't know. And the artillery. So this is not looking great. So I have completely reassessed. I'm not going to be able to take this flank. What I have to do is hold it as best I can. I could try to run away, but I don't think there's much purpose in that because this is actually a really good defensive position where I am. I can fall back around this corner and force them to come around and take shots from the Indian Panzer, plus he already should have shots as well. I've also got the 416 for the moment, so let's see how this thing starts to play out. Now the question for the enemy team is, how bad do you want it? One of the biggest mistakes you can make in this game is to have a complete overmatch on a flank and not press it. Lucky shot, I'll take it. Artie is now paying attention to me. That would be nice if he didn't. And it looks like maybe they're thinking about coming on in here, take a shot, but I don't get pinned. That's that armor on the turret working out for me right there. And it looks like they're thinking about getting aggressive, but they're not really all together. Honestly, if that whole blob had just come up and over the hill and taken us out, they would have done some good work on us. But check out what's going on down in the city, fellas. The 168 and the Turtle have noticed what's going on, and to their credit, they are positioned to just absolutely farm these guys along with the Indian Panzer if they get that aggressive. So I said they would have done better just to kind of swarm us, and I think honestly maybe they would have, but they'd have paid for it. We have a lot of sniperinos, and also check this out. The Scorpion G, he bailed. Good on him. He's all the way back there, my friends, and now we're just going to try to draw them in. Once they get into this flat spot where the 274 Alpha is, they are shotable by all these guys down in the city. So really the team, good on them. They made a good reaction to what's going on. Now, what I don't want to do is poke and let them get free shots. But what I do want to do, what I do is keep them lit, man. Keep them lit. So we kill one of those guys, and now they're kind of in trouble. There's 3 of them. And I think they start to realize that maybe this is not a good deal for them. They've also lost a Tiger 2 in the city. And now they're starting to push. And at this point, I'm like, oh, I think they're just coming at us. And this Indian Panzer is showing every indication that he's going to. I pop him, and now I'm going to slide on back. All right. What you want to watch out for here is getting so far back that there are guys in the city, and really it's down that area right there. Because they can kind of come around. There's a corner right there. Let's see what we're looking at. I'm going to try to point right at it here. There we go. There's a corner where the 50 TP is, can come around and shoot us, but check it out. Our guys in the city are actually starting to push, and it looks like only their 50 TP is. Their IS-3 is unseen at the moment. In fact, he hasn't even been spotted, right? So there's no marker by him yet right there. And the rest of them are TD, so this is already looking like we're in really good shape in terms of positioning, where their tanks are and where our tanks are. And these 4 dudes are going to make a push, and it turns out badly for them. I see it, so I'm backing out. Like I said, if there was somebody there, we're in trouble. We're going to get hit in the side, but guess what? He's busy fighting the Yoho and the 5100. So this turns out to be a really good situation for us. The Type, to his credit, is kind of trying to make a move. So we'll just keep pushing on him, or not pushing on him, but shooting that guy. He's making a runner. He actually gets away. I get rammed by the Indian Panzer, what was left of him. Put another shot into the Type. He hits me, but I get a bounce. And I thought about maybe pushing him. I said, well, we'll just have to let our sniperinos deal with that guy, and down he goes. The 168.01 from the city actually killed him. And now it's turned into a romple. Held that, killed those guys off. I've got 1,600 assist, 1,400 damage. Even 90's pushing in. He wants a piece of the action. Going after the Iron Arnie, put a shot onto him. I talked about it on stream. I wish I hadn't backed out right there. I wish I had kept pressing based on the situation with the even 90 in there. There was no real reason for me to pull back. Now the IS-3 has showed up, and it looks like he has kind of stopped some of that push down in the city, but the good news is they kept those guys busy long enough that we were able to shred this medium push.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
So just to recap a little bit on the initial decision making, decided not to go into town. Could have been an option with this tank. Decided to go over to the plateau here. Did not have as many people as I would have liked, so decided not to push up to this position here, because it's a little harder to hold this position up here. They can peek around this corner and shoot you. That does expose them a little bit to the guys over here, but not quite as much as where I went. Kept those guys spotted, kept myself defensive, kept my hit points. Good news is the enemy team pushed. So now that we own both flanks, and really the only bad thing that's happening to us now is it looks like the enemy team kind of got their stuff together and are doing better in the town. You know, the 168.01 was supporting us, as was the Turtle, but now they've turned around and they're taking those guys on. So I think, what is that's covered up? There's a heavy in the middle that's getting beat up right now. Must be the Oho. Must be the Oho fighting those guys off. So we'll come up this way. We've got 2,000 damage down and 1,600 assist. And this is the part of the game, the mid to late, especially when you're winning by this far. We talk about this quite a bit, where you want to get up there and start getting guys lit. And I was being a little bit cautious. What I was worried about was the G-SOAR being there in that bush, seeing me and just gunning me down. Maybe two-shotting me and easily three-shotting me, provided he hits and pins with all of them. But that didn't happen, so we'll just keep pushing up here. And now what I'd love to do here is light the guys up on their sniper spot, which will then get me the assist, which will be very tasty. IS-3 is over here. I'm looking for a shot on him. I was hoping he would back out. Somebody else gets the lights. That's unfortunate. So we're looking at a prototype, a G-SOAR 207, and there's a 34-3. And it turns out, actually, the T-34-3 is up here on the sniper hill. Good stuff. Good stuff. So we'll shoot him. Nice. Come on. Oh, geez, there's a 34-3. So we'll just kind of make his shot a little harder. Get that free shot. Maybe he'll miss or bounce. Oh, he thumps me. I'm a one-shot to this guy now. Try to shoot him and track him. We get the track. That works nicely. We'll back out. Maybe I can entice one of my friends to shoot him. I was going to go ahead and back off this, but I realized that you can actually kind of sit down in that little spot. That's interesting. Did not know that. The 34-3 took a shot. We'll shoot him and track him. Wait for the reload. Go for the shot. There we go. And we take him down. And check this out. Just never give up, guys. Just never give up shotting. Never give up shotting. Take all the shotting that you can shot. All right, guys? I mean, there's a 71 hit point prototype down there. Look at him. He's looking at me, which is hilarious. I mean, why is he even looking at me and not the guy? Well, I guess he really can't turn to get the Barras. Maybe I'm the only guy he has a shot on. But I just push forward. If he shoots me and kills me, good on him. But look at that. Boom. One more kill and another 71 hit points added on top because I just really didn't stop hitting W. There you go. 3,194 damage, 1,816 assist, 1,100 bounce. We got 4 kills out of that. And an ace tanker in the Centurion 5/1 rack. Royal Australian Army Corps? C. What's the C? I don't know. Royal Australian Army something. Something like that. Oh, okay, dog barked. Then I had to go take over a situation, and then another situation, and it's literally 2 hours later. What was I talking about? I don't know. Let's wrap it up. We talked about initial positioning, some of my reasoning for where I went, some of my ideas about trying to get to critical terrain. I do like the center of the city, but I'm in a medium. So you really have to, when you're looking at it and analyzing where you're going to go and what you're going to do, you're trying to take all of that into account. But the last thing I wanted to say before we go, and you guys head off into the sunset of whatever day this is, sometimes you just got to pick a flank and do your best, right? None of what I've said is me trying to declare that, holy cow, I knew everything about how this battle was going to go. Wasn't I so clever over on the west flank? I just drew him in because that's what I was doing. Not really, right? I went to the flank. I mentioned, I'm like, holy cow, I'm probably going to get rolled up. My team did some good things, some definite good things, supported us. We wrecked them. That's... we crushed them. I don't know. Now I'm completely off track. We crushed their push. They got a little over aggressive, turned into a Rompel Stomp. So when you win, when things like this happen, part of the Rompel Stomp was good play over on our flank. So the best you can hope for is to make an informed, decent decision early in the game. Go to the place where you think your tank's going to do the best, and then play as well as you can right there. Now that's really easy to say, and I try to give examples. This was one in particular where you've got to defend that plateau over there with an aggressive push. So there you go. Let me know what you guys think down below of all of that. You know, it's very interesting. That's why this game has lasted so long, to be quite honest, in my opinion, and especially for me, is it's every time it's the same map, but just a little nuance different, right? The other team gets a vote, they go to different places. How do you react to that? And how do you try to bring something more than a 50-50 win rate? How do I claw out of 100 battles that extra 2, 3, 6, 8 games out of 100 that bring me up to 53 or 58? Or even if you're below that, get yourself up to 50%. All right, blah, blah, blah. That is all I've got. Thanks for tuning in. We will see ya.